We're very excited to have Ken Gauld from Cavallo and Judy Weston from SPS Commerce with us. They will provide a high-level overview of each organization, how we work together and why that matters to you, of course, and how you can grow your business through automating EDI. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to our presenters to get the party started.
All right, well, thank you, Elizabeth. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to join our webinar today. My name is Ken Gauld, Technical Sales Manager here at Cavallo. We're very excited for your audience and got a great presentation for you today. I'll also introduce you to my co-host, Judy Weston.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Elizabeth. I'm Judy Weston from SPS Commerce. I work with all of our Microsoft partners and with companies who are running a Microsoft ERP or considering it. Been at SPS Commerce for just about 18 years next month, which makes me about 160 in EDI years. So thank you all for joining us, and we're looking forward to the conversation.
Well, thank you, Judy. Yeah, to reiterate our objectives for today, the webinar includes an overview of Cavallo and our Dynamics GP offering, an overview of SPS Commerce, our partnership over the last decade, and a live demo to show making EDI so simple that it becomes an afterthought. And then we'll open it up to questions at the end. For those of you who don't know Cavallo, we used to be known as SalesPad. We rebranded to Cavallo in 2021. There's a cool story behind that name, which we can tell you more about another time if you're interested. We're based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, icy Grand Rapids, Michigan today. We're experts in helping companies get the most out of Dynamics GP and also another product line for Dynamics 365 Business Central as well. We're really proud of our 20th anniversary this year. And in that time, we've accrued over 1,000 customers and over 23,000 active monthly users. And our customers and users will tell you that we're integral to their business. We have a track record of delivering value to our customers that speaks for itself. A 94% gross customer retention rate, 96 net promoter score, if you're not familiar with that scale, it's considered world-class. And to top that off, we can also tell you that we've helped our customers generate over $100 million in value for their organizations. SalesPad by Cavallo is the software that's central to achieving that tremendous value. And as you can see around this graphic, there's a lot that we do. We understand the full picture of a distribution type business, but for today's presentation, we're going to cover three key areas. Those being omnichannel, which for today is mainly our EDI connection through SPS Commerce. It's also things like e-commerce integrations and REST API. There's multiple ways to work there. There's also customer and order management and the workflow and automation tools. Those are cornerstones for SalesPad. If there's something else that stands out and you're interested in learning more, please reach out and I'd be happy to set up a demo for you on that too. At this time, I'll hand you over to Judy to introduce SPS Commerce.
Thanks, Ken, and happy anniversary, Cavallo. SPS Commerce is a global full-service EDI provider with headquarters in what is now snowy Minneapolis, Minnesota, but we do have offices around the country or around the globe, including Australia as well as Kyiv. We've been in this EDI market for the last 20 years. We're 100% cloud-based. We've got over 2,000 employees, and over 100 of those are dedicated to our joint customers that we have with Cavallo. A couple other stats on us. We're a publicly traded company. You can check us out on the NASDAQ under SPSC. And a little bit about our partnership with Cavallo. I was lucky enough to be part of this partnership from the inception, where a fortuitous meeting happened at a trade show, and fast forward 12 years or so, and we're now supporting 80 customers with over 100 team members on the Cavallo and the SPS side dedicated to those customers. And along with Cavallo, 20 plus years of experience in GP. Anything that you'd add to that, Ken?
Yeah, Judy. So SPS Commerce is our exclusive EDI partner. So we focus all of our efforts on making it really well integrated and full featured. Our domain in this partnership is really the fulfillment activities from when orders received through to invoicing and exchanging that data to SPS Commerce and the broad network that SPS has built. This is where we bring a ton of value, which I'll show in the upcoming demonstration.
All right, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about how we think about EDI. If you are on this webinar, then you probably have some idea of what EDI is, but let's just kind of do a level set. So EDI was a technology that was developed in the 1960s, and it was meant to be a standard, which is the funny joke amongst EDI 50 years later. Everybody's chosen their own standard, and there are now, trillions of combinations of requirements. What's good about that, though, is the document types have remained fairly static. These are the top 4 or most common documents required for an EDI transaction. So the first one being a purchase order. Buying organization sends a purchase order to a vendor to buy product. That supplier then acknowledges the order as to whether or not they can ship it in full. And then once it's picked and packed, they send an advanced ship notice as well as an invoice. Now, there are many, many other hundreds of other EDI documents. These are just kind of the basics. Some other ones include 900 series, which are communications to a third-party warehouse for order and shipment status. This is a little bit about how we think about EDI from a Cavallo and an SPS Commerce perspective. We really like to meet our customers where they are in their EDI journey. So whether they have landed that first account with Target and need to figure out how to do EDI for one trading partner, or they've got 5 trading partners with very complex requirements, or they're looking to add some system changes, meaning a third-party warehouse, SPS and Cavallo handle all of those on our customers' behalf, and our solution really scales to meet our customers where they are. So I mentioned earlier that we're a full service EDI provider. Now, what does that mean? It means that SPS and Cavallo are going to act as your EDI department. Now, there are 7 things that are absolutely integral to any EDI deployment, whether it's something that's full service or you choose to do it yourself. Number 1 is the technology. With SPS and Cavallo combined, we have a home run on that technology front with the hooks into SalesPad. Trading partner expertise. We know what who your trading partners are, the order management models that they require to be tested, and all the specifications for those trading partners. Of course, we have some design and configuration because your instance of SalesPad is a little different than your neighbor's instance of SalesPad. We walk our customers through the testing and launch process, which can be lengthy when you have to talk to your trading partners to coordinate that testing process. And last and certainly not least, the proactive monitoring and analysis of your EDI data, making sure that those documents are being acknowledged by your trading partners and that you're using EDI as efficiently as possible. Now, if you're comparing us to some other providers who sound a lot like SPS Commerce, they're giving you a part of the solution, a piece of technology, some limited design and configuration, and some limited ongoing support. And the rest of those pillars are up to you, which means you've got to either have someone at your company handling EDI on an ongoing basis, or some consequences can happen. So what can happen if you choose one of the other providers and you're not exactly sure what you're doing? Basically, you're learning EDI on the fly. So you are becoming an EDI coordinator through trial and error, which can lead to longer onboarding times, unexpected IT costs, chargebacks, too many labor hours. And you've worked so hard to land that target account. We've seen companies come to us from our competitors who have actually lost that coveted target account because they couldn't get EDI up and running. So the full service partnership means that between SPS and Cavallo, we handle all of those 7 pillars, as well as what you can expect from us during the implementation is to lead that implementation with a project manager, a business analyst, and a consultant. And through our decades of experience, lead you through that process with best practices, helping you avoid pitfalls In that process, you can expect us to reach out to your trading partners on your behalf in order to coordinate that EDI testing, handling all of that EDI legwork for you, and really only engaging you when it comes to the business relationship that you have with those trading partners. Last and certainly not least, we offer training and education, not just during the implementation, but ongoing, because we understand that people move around within organizations. And if you bring someone new on board, we've got video trainings, one-on-one trainings, and of course, our customer support is available 24 by 7 by 365. And a little bit about the world's largest retail trading partner network that we've been building for the last 23 years. What SPS does that's different than other EDI providers is, let's rewind 23 years ago. We had our first customer that wanted to do business with Walmart. What we did was we reached out to Walmart, found out how they wanted to connect, gathered those specifications, built those trading partner maps, went through some testing on behalf of our customer, and congratulations, we got one customer connected with Walmart. The difference between us and other providers is when the second company came to us and asked to connect to Walmart, instead of building something special just for them and reworking what we just did, we added them to the network that already exists. So use those maps. Fast forward 23 years, we've got over 5,000 customers that are getting their data from Walmart on those same maps. As well as 3,500 buying organizations, which equals over 1 million pre-mapped connections, as well as 1,000 third-party warehouses that are in our network. So what that means for our customers is it's a faster time to value, because we're not creating something brand new. And also the risk is mitigated because SPS Commerce is updating those maps on behalf of hundreds, if not thousands of other customers. So we're very much incented to make sure that those maps are up to date. And I will turn it over to Ken to go through the SalesPad demo.
Excellent. Thank you, Judy. So now that you've got some background on us and the game-changing outcomes, I'm sure you want to see this in action. So let me get that ready to go. Start with setting the stage. Some of us may have seen the customer success story from Hank Murphy at the Handicraft Company. Now, Hank, he's really technically savvy, and he articulated his experience with EDI at the Handicraft Company really well. It's representative of many of the stories that we hear from our customers that have lived it as well. The stories often go something like this. Sales or customer service teams work with dozens of trading partners. They're often important customers that drive large volumes, like the Targets and so on of the world. That revenue is significant. And they're often at an inflection point on what to do about it, needing to take that next step. I pulled some poignant quotes here that I've heard from among our team and our customer base, and each of these is now a mutual customer of Cavallo and SPS Commerce. I put my favorite quote at the top. This customer, Paul, he came to us stating that his manufacturing company actually had to turn business away due to the constraints of manually processing HomeDepot.com orders. They've since gotten connected to Home Depot eCom via SPS Commerce, and they've even added new marketplaces since then. It's helped them dramatically grow their direct-to-consumer dropship business while containing costs. Just in talking to Paul since, it's evident how relieved and in command he now feels. Their success is the epitome of what I love in helping customers. It brings me great satisfaction to see that transformation that occurred. Whatever the reason.
Sorry, Ken. I just want to note that that was the quote before they started using SPS and Cavallo, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So this was the initial state that they came to us, and the direct quote from that user, from Paul. I thought it was just absolutely spot on for the experiences that we've heard from other customers as well. But he put it really succinctly and very graphical in how he described it there.
I love it.
All right. So whatever the reasoning that brings you here and why you're considering the solution, let me show you in action. Now, imagine I'm the person handling EDI for the company. Say I'm the account manager at Handicraft, Hank's company that was in that video. Might be working with Bye Bye Baby as their big customer. And for them, this is a key account. It's really imperative that they're in there with their primary product line being the Dr. Brown's baby bottles. I've got that teed up with SalesPad at the moment. Really, if I were managing that account, managing those orders, SalesPad and Sales Monitor is where I'd start my day. This has been called the most valuable screen ever developed for Dynamics GP. Quite a statement. It's the hub for the workflow and the order management features of SalesPad. In this view, the left side shows the configurable queues, which is really the path for your documents from the moment they're created. Say new order, ready to pick, pack, ship. Basic fulfillment steps that I've got listed there, things that we typically encounter. This one's really concise, short, but it is configurable to be representative of the life cycle of the orders that go through your organization. Now, for instance, I've got 5 orders in that new order queue. Those specific 5 documents are these ones listed here. So the right side shows in this grid view the details of each queue or batch. And this UI is awesome because it's really easily searchable. For instance, I want to see a Bye Bye Baby order. I can put in Bye Bye Baby. I've got 2 of them, and I can see the stage at which those are. There's also some visual cues to draw your eyes to issues. For instance, like the red text that shows whether I'm at or approaching a required ship date, or at or past, rather, a required ship date, or if there's holds applied to the documents. Think of how this takes you from living in a black box of orders within GP to being in complete command of your documents at all stages. So this order management dashboard, this will be set to run and refresh. Perhaps say I've got it every 5 minutes. It's going to be running, and as time passes and as orders are being transmitted from your trading partners, they'll come in via SPS Commerce and they'll populate here automatically. No keystrokes required. I'm going to manually trigger a refresh. And you'll recall we have 5 orders in the new order queue currently. I hit a refresh and now I've got a 6th. That's this order, EDI order 194. So consider the time you spend on order entry currently. Getting every line of that PO into the system, that becomes obsolete. Now with that new order that appeared, 194, I can click into that, and that brings up our order entry screen. First, you'll notice that this order entry screen is much different than GP's. We've specifically designed this to be much more efficient, like including, first of all, a tabbed user interface so you can toggle between things quickly and easily. There's also handy tooltips just laced throughout this as well. Like within this line item, I've got inline inventory visibility to check the available inventory for the item being ordered here. This example, 3 cases of 5-ounce baby bottles. I've got plenty of them in stock, great. Other things as well, just throughout here, I've got document profitability. At a quick glance, I can see that in this example, might not be realistic, a 92% margin on this one. Sounds really great. So putting all these enhancements of the critical info at the CSR fingertips is what our document, our sales order entry screen is meant to do. While it's not really a focus for today, this alone is a game changer for anyone doing a lot of sales order processing in GP. We can do a deep dive of that another time. I'm going to just simply scan this order. Looks good. Hit release. So this order we know is fine. The prompt shows me that it moved to a ready to pick queue. So at this point, we'll say pick ticket prints out to the warehouse. They're ready to get started on fulfilling it. To jump back to Sales Monitor, I'll do another manual refresh. We'll see order 194 dropped out of the new order queue, and it now resides here in ready to pick. Now, the documents can flow through their primary path. I'm going to take you on a quick detour of what could have happened if that order were not ready for picking. The workflow has a built-in rules engine where it can evaluate whether there's an exception of some sort. If so, it gets redirected. For instance, if there's back orders or customers exceeding their credit limits or incorrect pricing or something else you'd want to prevent, the workflow rules will evaluate that, intercept it, and redirect it. For me, I'm sending those exception items to a queue called EDI review. 2 documents in there, of which you can see they're listed here. I've got holds indicating to me a back order or margin issues. Now, this rules engine is built into our workflow, and it's hugely valuable in maintaining control over the transactions. In fact, we have a customer who attributes 7-figure gains to their bottom line annually from a single rule in their workflow, and they literally call it their $1 million rule. It's the guardrails that keep things running smoothly and profitably and alerting relevant personnel along the way. So no one can check every document and every line for errors, but workflow does precisely that at scale. So with that peace of mind that you can be in control of every line of every document, you can stop fighting fires and get back to more valuable tasks and things that you have to accomplish. So now back to our primary document that we're working with. When resuming its journey, I'm going to now work on fulfillment. Whether picking via mobile scanners in the warehouse or other ways of accomplishing this, this is just meant to be representative of your normal picking process. I'll be doing it in SalesPad, where I'll go about picking from the bin that I'd like to pull from. I'm in a multi-bin environment. I've updated the quantity fulfilled. Again, that can happen in a lot of different ways to make that happen. Just wanted to make sure that the fulfillment was occurred, and now I can mark it as picked. So the first step in fulfillment is completed, and it's going to move along to packing. This cycle will continue. 194 is moved down to ready to pack, and we're going to go through that step. Really here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to populate this shipment tab of the order with ASN data. So which items went into which packages. I'll just key in some fudge data for demonstration's sake today to kind of build this out really quickly. This part, similarly to how I did packing, there's multiple options on how you achieve picking and packing. So I'm just going to create this and quickly mark that all items were packed into a single package. Now, if you're using integrated shipping software or via barcode scanners as well, there's a lot of options on this one. But for the EDI requirements specifically, I've got the SSCC carton code and the labels that I can retrieve here as well. So I'm going to do the carton labels, and I'll shift this over on the screen in a moment here a little bit as well, just to give you a kind of a glance of what we're looking at. So the label, I know it's a little hard to see there, and it's got that bright watermark over it. But what to note about this one is SPS Commerce delivers us the correct label per the trading partner's requirements. So I'm getting a do not ship one, a test one. I would actually be getting the carton label for Bye Bye Baby, which SPS handles, and they have the compliance as part of their full service solution. In my case, I'm going to proceed. I'm going to click packed. Packing stage has been completed, and it's going to move to shipping. A couple things are running in the background. 2 things happened. First, it runs a printed output of the carton label tool, label printer, perhaps out in the shipping area, and it moves it to the shipping queue. So the shipping team now knows there's something in their queue that they need to work on. Back to Sales Monitor as evidence of that. This is now moved down to shipping. We'll say that team gets to work. It's out the door. The last piece there will be moving through to invoicing. And just to note, while I pause on this one, this works for drop ships as well. That HomeDepot.com order that I talked about earlier, shipping direct to the consumer while invoicing the retailer, that's handled via integrating the EDI data to the bill to of the retailer, ship to of the customer. We can handle that in the addresses tab. Lastly, we'll say it's shipped, and I'm going to transfer this off to invoice. Again, I'm not doing any EDI specific process here. I'm just transferring the order to invoice as you may typically do in GP. It is available in SalesPad as well. So now consider in this process so far, I've done the work of maybe three people or three groups here: the warehouse, shipping, and now the AR function. I'm going to mark this one as ready to post, and this document is now a completed invoice. Now you may be wondering, so what? I know how to fulfill an order and transfer it to invoice, but what about EDI? So I'm going to jump over to another screen, our EDI processing screen. Now, I'm first of all going to highlight a few lines, and then we'll talk about what exactly these represent here as well. This is actually the big ta-da moment. This is really tricky for me to give you a big reveal when the amazing concept we're showing here is seamless background automation, but here goes. So what you're seeing here, starting at this first row of the transaction log, is the EDI 850 that came in for Bye Bye Baby and created order 194. What you didn't see as we fulfilled the order is the acknowledgement. The 855 out was sent, the ASN, actually the labels then came next, then the ASN, and the invoice. They were all triggered to send out at the appropriate point in that process. So within a couple minutes here, between 2:20 and 2:28, we've completed that process and sent all of the information, and it's accurate and timely. So we don't intend for you to live in this informative but not very glamorous screen. This is my best way to show you what actually happened behind the scenes, as you may have not even realized it. The simplicity of this solution is that you undergo your normal operations to fulfill the order. The workflow and the SPS connector handle the rest. Really, the point is you go about handling your order, and the EDI actions have been occurring seamlessly without extra effort. And that's how it basically becomes an afterthought.
And notice how Ken, as he was going through this, needed zero EDI knowledge to process that order.
Yeah, that's a good point, Judy. Thanks. Yeah, it was just going through my normal day-to-day of my my fulfillment process. So as I flip back to our deck here to kind of wrap up the story, as we near the end, I like this graphical representation of what you just saw in the demo. Think of it a bit of the system landscape. So SalesPad is the central piece to your day-to-day operations in this view. It's enabled by tools like our enhanced order entry screen, the order management and workflow capabilities, as you saw via Sales Monitor, and that EDI processing log as evidence of those background transactions. The SPS Commerce element on the left side is the full service connection to the outside world enabled by the embedded connector within SalesPad. And on the right-hand side, the data such as sales orders, shipment info, invoices, those are shared in real time with GP as the system of record. Breaking down these silos means there's no delay or discrepancies in the data. There's no need to rekey data, as they all point to the same source of truth, that GP database. To those of you who are using or considering another EDI toolset, think about your version of this diagram. Is your data being mapped to GP? Yes, that can still work in a way where you can access the sales, shipment, and invoice data that's shared between SalesPad and GP, but you cannot utilize the tremendously powerful automations that make it a hands-off process. In short, there's still a human element to manage the EDI transactions, as well as SPS's really strong suit, the maintenance, compliance, and all the other things that they handle. So to bring it full circle to what Judy said at the top, whether you're brand new to EDI and getting set up with your first trading partner, that's quite a milestone. But once onboarded, adding the second, third, or 50th trading partner is incrementally easier. Or if you're a veteran of EDI looking to improve on the status quo, you'll likely see how we can take hours of effort and headaches out of your process. And we've already helped 80+ shared customers at various points on their journey, and they've gotten out from under the weight of their old processes, and not just solve their challenges, but even unleash their potential to do more. So with that, I'll open it up to your questions, and Judy and I will be happy to help you understand and feel comfortable with what you've seen today.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Judy. We've got a couple questions here already, so keep them coming. So first one, if the orders are processed in GP, are additional manual steps required to send the 855? Ken, I think that's a good one for you.
Sure. Yeah, hopefully we covered that. As the steps are processed, the 855, the PO acknowledgement, that can be handled in a couple ways. First of all, I went through and we did send outbound that 855. I did it without changes. I just accepted it as is. So it went out upon releasing it to picking in my scenario. Now, if there are changes there as well, I didn't show it, but there's another user interface that can pop up that you can see what is different between what's on the order now and versus how it came in. We highlight those in yellow, and you have the option to reject or accept with changes or accept as it originally came in. So there is the option to handle that one in a couple of different ways.
Awesome. Thanks, Ken. A few more for you guys. This looks like inbound. How about if I want to order from my supplier outbound?
That is absolutely possible. So we are able to send orders to your supplier community, as well as receive that acknowledgement, advanced ship notice, and invoice back. The other added piece besides that technology piece is we have a department here at SPS, our community team, who helps with that vendor onboarding process. Meaning we will reach out to your suppliers and educate them on why you'd like to do EDI, what the benefits are, and then shepherd them through the process of getting them connected with your company using EDI. Happy to talk about that further.
Thanks, Judy. Here's another one for you. If we were to switch to SPS and do the integration, when an EDI order comes in, it will automatically create an order in SalesPad?
Yeah.
Sounds like it will.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That was the first point where in Sales Monitor was my best spot for showing that, where they'll come in from the trading partner, they'll process through and land in my example, the new order queue, ready to get started on fulfillment.
Awesome. Thanks, Ken. They're coming in fast. So do the shipping labels integrate with Ship Center easily via SalesPad desktop?
Yeah, so let me think on that one. The shipping labels, there can be a couple versions of that. We talked about the carton labels that are coming in for the trading partner requirement that are being pulled from SPS Commerce. Those can be workflow controlled to trigger to perhaps say go to the shipping area's label printer at the right point in the process. If you're using Ship Center, for those that aren't aware of what that is, that's an integrated shipping software from Cavallo. It pairs up with the workflow as well. So when we go through the process of shipping within our shipping tool, we can also trigger the output of labels at that point. Those might be labels like the UPS or FedEx shipping labels. There's a couple different label types we can do there as well. We can also trigger the output of other documents like packing slips or other things you may need to put in the box as well. So there's a few options on things we can output. If I didn't cover the exact specific question there, be happy to take that as a follow-up and get you the specific that you're looking for.
Awesome. All right, next one. What happens on the SPS side? Does the SPS portal also update in real time with order status?
That's a really good question, Elizabeth, that I can take offline. I believe that the order status, as soon as the EDI document, I don't know if it is in real time that it would show up in fulfillment, but I certainly can take that offline and follow up.
That'd be great. Thank you. Another one here, if the 850 comes in with quantity of 100, can a business rule be built into the workflow to accept 80 and send the 855 with the 80? Can this be configured by customer and or item?
Okay. Yeah, that's quite a specific one where I imagine you might want to control who gets what, and you have a greater level of control than just straight automating a response that, yeah, we accept that. If you wanted to put rules around that, then that might be a great way to utilize the workflow rules engine. So if a customer is ordering 100, but you want to reserve a certain level of inventory, you might want to reduce that quantity of 80 and then send the acknowledgement that, yes, we accept your order of 80. The workflow rules would be able to evaluate and handle a situation like that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. We've got another one here. Can EDI be set up at line item level for purchasing instead of header level? So an example of that is notifications when partial orders are shipped. We would be placing orders with many vendors on behalf of our customers.
Yeah, okay, if I understand this one, the 850 would come in and create an order. It might be that the line level being that there's multiple ship tos, perhaps, if I understand this right. So we're shipping to multiple, say, Home Depot stores, and it's branching out in a lot of different directions. You can send either the EDI documents per line. So as you ship to each store, it's going to send just that piece of information. And then invoice similarly, you can send them out. Or we have other customers that, well, it's probably more the trading partners requirement on this actually, that'll say, hey, we'll send it to you. We just want one invoice to match the PO exactly. So whether you ship it out several different ways, you still have to send one consolidated invoice, if you will, or one complete invoice. We can then make sure that the invoice goes out that way so it's acceptable to the trading partner as well.
Ken, I think that Tom's question was based on representing a buying organization sending orders, if I understood correctly. And I know, Tom, you've got a few questions in here. We are happy to schedule some time to chat with you. I know that we exchanged a couple of emails this morning, but we're happy to set up some time to really dive deeper into your questions and what the requirements are.
Yeah, thanks, Rudy.
Great, thanks, guys. Another one here, what type of connections does SPS use?
I saw that one from Kathy, and I'm not sure that I understand exactly what connections are, but I'm going to take a stab at a couple of different, if I understood it correctly, when you say connections, basically we connect to every trading partner in the way that they want to connect. So if Home Depot or Walmart requires an AS2 connection, we'll do that. If Amazon requires an API connection, if there's an FTP connection, that's really part of the service that SPS provides. So there's no need for an AS2 certification or for you to go out shopping for a van or anything like that. If I didn't understand the question correctly, I'm happy to chat further and answer your question.
Awesome. Okay, another one for you guys. I'm a pretty small business and currently doing EDI manually. Curious if there's signs I should look for in determining like when to deploy automation. Like, is there a tipping point? Judy, you want to take a stab at that one?
This is a great question, but also one that I have to answer with it depends. And that's my least favorite answer to receive when I ask a question. So it depends with a caveat. It really depends on your company, the size of the orders, and how many people you have processing those orders. I will tell you that in 17 years, as a guideline, I would say that we start hearing people raise their hands and say, is there another way to do this that's more automated, when they get around 50 to 75 orders a month.
Sounds good. Thank you for that. Ken, this seems like more of a technical one, so I'll give this one to you. What happens when my customer sends over the wrong item number?
Right, yeah, that's a good one. So what I've seen is that when there's an issue, something that isn't readable that we can't use for an order, the transaction gets caught and reported on. That EDI processing log that we looked at, that shows where there's been data validation issues, or master data type issues. So if I understand this one right, it's what the customer might send a PO where they're ordering a part number 123 and we call it an XYZ. In that case, the EDI document would be held in that processing log. You'd see an error message around what the discrepancy was there. In that case, I'd go back and update the master data, like perhaps either a customer item number to set that cross-reference, or we have data cross-reference tables as well that work for that. That works also for like unit of measure schedules and currencies and other things. And then we can reprocess the EDI document right within SalesPad. What's great about that is you don't have to reach out to the trading partner to resend it. The data is still teed up there, just ready to be reprocessed when the master data has been corrected.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. And then I have a fairly specific question here from Gary. If we're not able to answer this, we will definitely follow up with you. But what version of SalesPad is required and what add-ins are required?
Yeah, on that one, so as we implement new customers onto EDI, we always move them to a new version of SalesPad. So we request an upgrade there because it's going to have the latest and greatest for all of the features that we built in there, keeps it current. So it would require a SalesPad upgrade. In terms of what modules or components that are required in there, there's the core SalesPad piece of it. So you need to be running SalesPad, and there's an EDI connector, the SPS Commerce connector that enables that embedded connectivity. So it's at least those couple pieces. In terms of what you may already have and seeing if there's differences between what you have and what you need, we'd have to look at that on a case-by-case basis. So I'd be happy to do that with you.
Thanks for that, Ken. And then we're going to wrap up with this one last question from Tom. Is there an EDI protocol document?
I'm not sure that I am. Go ahead, Ken.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that probably I think comes from your side.
Yeah, and I guess I'm not exactly sure what the question is, and I think that you know, Tom, absolutely, we can, like I said, set up some time to chat further regarding what the requirements are. So would love to set that up in the next couple of days.
Thanks so much, Judy and Ken. That concludes today's webinar. If anyone saw anything that they would like to learn more about, feel free to reach out to Ken or Judy. We've got both of their contact information here at the bottom of the screen. They'd be happy to facilitate a follow-up call or demo. I'm also excited to share that we have a couple special promotions we're offering to those of you who are on today's webinar. These are specifically for new customers. So if you're interested in learning more, again, we'd be thrilled to have a conversation with you very soon. So lastly, when you exit the webinar, there will be a very short survey. We'd appreciate your feedback. And we look forward to hearing from everyone. Have a great day, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you all.